Good evening, everyone. I'm Regina Shearer, your host for the Winning Women Talk Show. And I want to take time to say thank you for joining us this evening and spending time with us on this show. Every week, I always get excited because each woman who has been on this show has shared the journey that she has taken to fulfilling her passions, those things that she is driven about, those things that are her career goals, her aspirations, those things that fulfill her. And I think you found that common theme just as I have, that amidst all of the obstacles, the challenges, and even those moments of elation and happiness and just feeling, I did it, that's so great, that in all of that, these journeys vary. These women are all different, but the common things they have are that they do things that benefit others and they derive joy from doing those things. I hope that as you've been listening to these stories, that if you're a person who's been saying to yourself, I always wanted to, but that you're hearing things that are making you say, you know what, if she can do it, so can I. And that hopefully you're on your way to doing that special something that you're passionate about. And if not, maybe tonight's guest will be able to motivate and inspire you to go ahead and take that step that will allow you to become a winner. Now, notice I didn't say winning woman because I know men listen to this show. So, but being a winner, being successful doesn't mean you have to be rich, but it certainly means you have to be fulfilled. And so, you are invited to participate tonight in this show, and we want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking. If you have questions for our guests or any comments you'd like to make, feel free to contact us, one by calling in 781 384 5587. I'll say that again, 781-384-5587. And if you're a little phone shy, it's okay. Email me, Regina, at rgbinternetradio.com. We want to hear from you and we look forward to it. I'm excited to introduce our guest tonight. Her name is Trelane Clark, and Trelane Clark is the head of the lower school at Dedham Country Day School in Dedham, Massachusetts. Trelane provides leadership and vision for 20 faculty and over 200 students in pre-kindergarten through grade 5. She has oversight of and monitors curriculum development. So hold on to your seat because this is a list: curriculum development, class schedules, academic programs implementation, budgets, student discipline, lower school faculty, professional development, parent and guardian communications, student progress, and diverse learning needs. That's what she monitors and oversees. Okay. But she's also engaged in strategic planning and decision making. She works with the admissions office in their efforts for outreach, recruitment, and student retention, and with key stakeholders such as the Board of Trustees, the corporation, and alumni. She has served as a principal, an assistant principal at several other schools, and believe it or not, on top of all of the things she does and has done, she is also a travel advisor, an author, and a podcaster. She earned her undergraduate degree in Spanish and African Studies and a master's in teaching for elementary education at Simmons College. And she has a CAGS degree, or a certificate of advanced graduate study in educational administration, from Boston University. There's so much more to her that I'm going to let her share with all of us. So, welcome, Trelane, to the Winning Women Talk Show.
Thank you so much, Regina. I'm excited to be here.
We're glad you're here. Um, as always, I like to start off by allowing the listeners to get to know a little bit about you. So, if you would, please share things about you, such as where are you originally from? What was it like growing up? Tell us a little bit about family education, those things you feel comfortable sharing with us.
Sure, absolutely. Um, I will say that I'm originally from Boston, so my family is all here, and I'm very proud of the fact that I don't have a Bostonian accent unless I choose to. But a part of the reason for that is because I actually went to a boarding school for high school, Concord Academy, and I lived on campus. I was boarding there for 4 years, and I credit some of that to my friends who were from various places. So I don't think that my Bostonian accent was really able to flush itself out while I was there. But I'm an only child, which I love. Um, I'm not your typical only child, but I am an only child. And I'm also a mom, which is my greatest accomplishment ever. I have two children, one that's above the is actually an adult chronologically, um, and then one that's in middle school. And they are really my entire heart and pride and joy. And I love helping people. I love serving. I love children. I love everything that has to do with supporting women and children and families and educators. And so if it is adjacent to that, then I'm pretty drawn to it. So
Okay.
that's the short version.
So
And
so where did that love come from? I mean,
mhm,
you've been a part of education for a long time.
mhm.
And so where did that come from? What stimulated that in you? That
Yeah.
interest?
Yeah, so I have to start with two women, two winning women. My grandmother. My grandmother was an amazing woman. She was, I consider her a self-made woman, and she was very. Education was just the it factor, you know. She had always said, if I could make sure to educate my children, then I did my job. And that was like her number
Mm,
one thing. She wanted to make sure that all of us had an education. And when I say us, I mean my mom and my aunts. And so that's where it began. And I
mhm.
just loved school all the time. I was that kid that, put their Barbies together and, played school with them. And that, of course, I was always the teacher, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I was the one that was helping my classmates in class because I was done with my work already, you know.
Mhm.
So I always had a love for just doing that, love for learning. Even the subjects that I didn't love, was still fine because I was just learning something new. So that I would say started there. The second winning woman that I would credit is my godmother, who is in Nashville, Tennessee, and she so has was and has been so incredibly instrumental in my life and in my development. She is the teacher that I said if I could be a teacher like her, then I'd be all right. Um,
Mhm.
and it really speaks to the power of an educator. It speaks to the power of education. It speaks to the power of how schools have the opportunity to really change the trajectory of someone's life. And so this thing is serious. This thing is real, for me, and I know that full well. So those two, I think, together, sort of put me on the path to being an educator and trying to be as excellent as possible. And there's so many different things different opportunities that I have had over the years to highlight the both of them in different ways, and not necessarily just by saying their names, right? But just by evoking the spirit and just evoking um, the the heart that they had for making sure that I was had everything that I needed. So I would say those two
Right.
women.
So now I'm going to talk about the trajectory. I understand your love for education, but you started out, as I shared, with Spanish and African studies.
Yes, yes, yes. And you
Yeah.
wanna know how I got there?
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
the Spanish was interesting. So my grandmother was a an executive housekeeper at some hotels in the Boston area, and so she worked with a lot of folks from a variety of Spanish-speaking countries,
Mhm,
and one of them became her best friend, and so we spent a lot of time with her and her nieces and nephews, and so I started learning Spanish from them.
mhm.
And I was that was probably what was elementary school when that
Oh,
happened. Yeah, so I started learning at that point, and then I formally started learning it in 8th grade, and I just never stopped. So every I just continued through high school, and
okay.
decided to major in it. But initially, I went into college as an elementary education major.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so I had a class during my first year, and I don't know exactly what it was, but I didn't like the class. And it made me go, maybe this isn't the thing that I want to do. Because at 14, I had told folks, I was like, I'm going to be a teacher, and then I'm going to be a principal, and then I'm going to have my own school. When I was 14
Mhm,
years old, I said that to
mhm,
everybody.
mhm.
And so I got in this class, and it wasn't seeming like something that I wanted to do. And I was like, I don't know what this is. So I talked to my advisor. She was amazing. And she was like, look, what subjects do you love? And I said, Spanish and Black history. And she said, okay, well, major in those. And then if you want to do education, you can do it for your master's degree. I said, okay, sounds good.
That's the way to go. I understand. I understand that
And
totally.
it was one of the best decisions, right? Because I was really able to get steeped into the liberal arts and have a much broader range of things that I could teach and that I did have deeper knowledge about. And so I was the first person in my college to double major in Spanish and African American studies. So I do have that to my credit too.
And that's good. That's always good to have, right? Because you've given yourself a broader perspective, and I love it because, uh, eh, in the past, being able to, uh, be proficient in Spanish opened a lot of doors. You could have wanted to
Oh
be
yes,
a librarian, and you would have gotten a job if in a library in a Spanish-speaking neighborhood, right? Because
yes.
that employers were looking for people who were bilingual,
Hmm.
and so I understand all of that.
Hmm.
But you taught humanities. Okay, I'm just trying to. I want to know this
You want the full
journey.
scope. So, yes, so I did major in that, and then I went and got my master's immediately following, my bachelor's degree. And then I went to a, bilingual school, a two-way bilingual school.
Okay,
And I taught 1st grade, and I taught in English and in Spanish for 3
oh,
years.
okay.
Mhm. So that was the beginning of my teaching career.
Mm,
It was hard. It was hard. It was incredibly hard. And it was one of the best things that I did. To be able to own my teaching skills at a really well established school, and to get the ground level of the foundations of curriculum planning, things of that nature. I was able to get that because, a lot of curriculum wasn't in Spanish. So we were actually
oh,
writing a lot of our own curriculum, you know. And so I got all of that during those 3 years. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity. I didn't yet have the opportunity to use my Spanish as much until the pandemic hit, actually. And that's when I got my first position as a principal in a community that was predominantly Hispanic. So there I was able to speak Spanish every single day.
oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Wow. I was going to ask you how you flowed into that role, but there you go. That
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you still have an opportunity to use your fluency in Spanish?
Whenever I can. whenever I can, whether it's a Spanish work restaurant, um, or if it's with a family. I will definitely ask if if I hear a Spanish accent, I will ask them if they speak Spanish, and then if they feel more comfortable with me communicating with them in Spanish, I'm able to do that whenever I have the opportunity to help in that way, then I will.
So so at this point, you're the head of the lower school, the Dedham Country Day School,
Mhm.
but you moved on a trajectory. You were dean at a school, you were the academy leader, then you became an assistant principal, then you became a principal. Was this part of the plan? Was this part of your trajectory? Um, did you miss not being in the classroom?
Mm. Both really wonderful questions that I get asked a lot. So to a degree, yes, this was pretty planned.
Okay.
I had said, I wanted to be a teacher, but I knew I wanted to be a leader. But I also said I really want to make sure that I'm a leader that understands what it is and what it means to be a teacher. um, it really makes a difference in terms of your ability to lead teachers when you're able to say, when I was in the classroom, I did this thing, I tried this thing, this worked for me. Right. And not to the degree of saying, okay, well, I want you to do it this way because I did it this way. No, not at all. But just so that they have a reference point and that they know and feel that you have an idea of what they're dealing with and where they're coming from. Because it's one of those places where in education, oftentimes teachers feel disconnected from leaders because they have not necessarily had the experience that they've
That's right.
had, and so they're coaching them and giving them advice, and it's like, do you really have a sense of what this means? And I really feel like I did. I spent 17 years as a teacher only. I had like teacher leadership positions here and there, but I really intentionally wanted to take a good amount of time. It took a little bit longer than I actually planned before getting into leadership. And then when I got some assistant principal roles, ended up staying in those roles longer than I had planned. I had thought that I would be a principal probably in about 3 or 4 years, and it ended up being 9 years. And there were various reasons for that. I do believe that um, some of that had to do with. I would say that there were situations that were not as supportive, right?
That's
Them
tactful.
folks, yeah, folks knowing, when you tell people what you're thinking about doing and how you want to move forward, how you want to advance. Unfortunately, not everybody is always ready to help you get there,
Right.
right? And so, trying to fight with and through some of those things extended my time as an assistant principal. But I don't begrudge any of the experiences that I've had because I learned so much from every single position, every single school, different families, all of that. And I take all of that with me wherever I go and use what I need. People sometimes ask, what's your leadership style? And
Mhm.
my answer is usually mine. I don't have someone else's leadership style, I really have taken a lot of instruction and coaching and scenarios and models from everyone that I have worked with and sort of blend that into what makes me feel makes me feel good as an educator and as a person to know that the work that I'm doing is offers me the opportunity to work to have integrity in my work because I know that it's coming from me and coming from my heart.
Right. And I appreciated your comments around wanting to have the experience so that as you moved into administrative roles that you had the respect and integrity. I spent umpteen years in higher education, and in that position I started as a faculty member. And you have to, when you move into administrative roles, if you don't have tenure,
Mm, mhm,
it's a battle. It's a bit of
mm,
a battle
mhm,
um, with faculty. to be
Right.
quite honest with you,
Right. Mhm.
because it's a you against them,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that's what you did. But you also did something else that I'm curious about. So you initially you were developing curriculum and doing all these things, and you started moving. You've moved through a very diverse number of institutions. You were at Parkside Christian Academy,
Yep.
right? Then you were in Dorchester,
Mhm.
Lila Frederick Pilot Middle School.
Yep.
Then you were in Needham at an elementary school, and you moved, and then you went to Chelsea to Hooks Elementary School, and now you're at the Dedham Country Day School, which is a private school.
Mhm.
And so you now I'm saying all this to so that our viewers and listeners have context for what I'm about to ask you.
Mhm.
As a woman, that's not unusual. It's
Mhm.
not unusual, except that there's usually, even in that trajectory, there's usually a type of school that the
Mm.
woman moves through.
Mm.
You've hit them all. You've hit them all, private, public, inner city, suburban, urban, whatever.
Mhm.
You've hit them all. And you've done that as a Black woman.
Mhm. Yep.
So share with us, what are some of the challenges that you had to address?
Mm. Well, I think probably one of the challenges that is consistent is people having an idea of what you know and what you've experienced, and them deciding what that is before you've spoken, before you've made a move, right? Um, and sometimes it's almost comical because you looked at my resume, right? And so when you get a job, you have to submit your resume, right? So you submit the resume and you kind of go, hmm, they look at this? Did they see? Right? And so you have to remind people like this is yes, I actually have done this thing. I had a situation where I was in a meeting and we were talking something about special education and um, someone asked I don't know if Trelane knows what that is in special education. And I just I said and all the things kind of pass through your head like I don't this is not my first rodeo here. Sometimes you do have to remind people of that. And it's not about you saying that you know everything. Because I never would ever say that. In education, I think that's one of the most dangerous things you could say is that you know,
Exactly.
right? You have to stay a learner. However, there are certain things that we have experiences, and we can call upon those experiences to inform what it is that we're doing today. And
Mhm.
so when we don't necessarily honor folks for the trajectories that they've had and the different places where they have been, it can feel really disingenuous and as if you can't trust the person for who they say they are. And so I think that has been a challenge is just letting people know without saying, "Well, I did this and I know this thing," right? So I just try to show it. I just do it. It's how I engage in the conversations. It's the initiatives that I put forth. It's the suggestions that I make, so that folks realize like, oh, she does have some knowledge of this here. Um, and I think just generally as a Black woman, unfortunately, there are all kinds of assumptions about who I am as a Black woman. Never mind an education professional. So that's like a whole other set
Right.
of assumptions that I have to combat. And really and truly, I just show up as me. I just do the best that I can to just walk in as me. And whatever assumptions folks have, whatever, you know, stereotypes or whatever, it's like you can have those, but what you see is me. And so if you want to have a conversation with me, that's who you're having a conversation with. If you want to ask a question and we can have respectful dialogue, I'm here for it.
Well, I appreciate that because there are places where people can question, you know, your actual abilities. I'll
Mhm,
put it that way,
mhm,
regardless of what's on paper, what diplomas hang on your wall, and it's because of that whole issue around stereotypes. But I applaud you because you have been in predominantly white, predominantly multicultural,
mhm.
predominantly both,
Yep.
and um, and you've excelled in that to be now the head of the lower school, the elementary school, if you
Mhm,
will,
mhm,
of the institution you're currently at at the Dedham Country Day School. It speaks volumes to your abilities because people don't pay that kind of money
mhm,
to feel that their children are being managed or taught
mm,
by a stereotype,
mm, mm. I love that statement. That's true.
right? So
Alright.
I love it. Now, that reminds me of the fact that you authored, and I'm going to say the name of what you authored, Shattering Stereotypes,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And I love it because you fiercely forging forward. I can't say you called it,
Well, I have to preface this by saying I wrote a chapter in this book.
right?
So that it wasn't my title, but I love the title.
Fiercely forging forward, and
Yep.
all I thought is that resonates so much with me. But I'm sure it does for a lot of women,
Mhm.
and it does not matter what your ethnicity is or your age, um, because there are just certain places where you have to do that. You have to fiercely forge forward.
Right, you do.
And I'm so I just wanted to ask you, um, is what you just shared with us about your trajectory and the challenges, is that what you addressed in that section that you authored?
Slightly. I that particular chapter is focused on new leaders. And there was it's I can't remember exactly the title of it, but it has to do with focusing and being very intentional about what it is that you are doing and why you are there as a new leader, because I've been a new leader several times. And again, people will try to impose upon you what they think you should do when you're a new leader. Now, it doesn't even mean if you're new to leadership or if you're new to that space or to that role. They will just try to decide, okay, this is what you need to do. And it's like, thank you. I appreciate your assistance, and I
Mhm.
will get your assistance when I need that. Um, and I also have my own purpose. I have my own goals that I want to actually put forth here, and so it's to remind leaders to stay clear about their why and making that public, letting folks know what their actual their why is. Why are they at that school? Why are they in that space? So that's pretty much what that chapter is about.
Okay. We're going to take a break, a quick break. But before we do that, if you've just joined us, you have been listening to Trelane Clark. She is the head of the lower school for the Dedham Country Day School in Dedham, Massachusetts. So I hope that you are listening intently and that right now you're thinking, I should call in because I have a question. Or you can do that or email me. And so if you look at your screen, you're going to see how you can contact us. You can call 781-384 5587, or you can email me, Regina, at rgbinternetradio.com. So we want to hear from you. We love hearing from our viewers and our listeners. But in the meantime, we're going to take a very quick break. So dash to your refrigerator or whatever to grab yourself something to drink or eat very quickly. We're going to take this break and we will be right back.
At Portal to Hope, we're here to help victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking crimes. We provide support, resources, and hope to those who need it most. We believe that everyone deserves to live a life free from violence. If you or someone you know is in danger, please reach out for help. Call us at 781-338-7678. We offer a variety of services including counseling, legal aid, job assistance, and housing support. We also work to raise awareness about these issues and to advocate for change. Together, we can create a world where everyone is safe and free from violence. Portal to Hope is here for you.
And we are back with Trelane Clark. Trelane, one of the emails that came in said, "Good evening. It's been great listening to Trelane, and it's very impressive to hear all that she's been doing. I'm amazed that she keeps up with herself. I've been seeing videos of teachers that are frustrated and even quitting as a result of their experiences with the younger generation's teachability. They mentioned that kids now are harder to teach because of behavior challenges, electronic device addiction, and just a general sense of not wanting to do legwork because of technology like AI or Chat GPT. Have you had run-ins with this situation? And if you have, how are you handling it?"
Ooh. Coming out the gate with the big stuff, I guess, huh? Well, so interestingly, I would say that, well, one, I will start by saying yes, all of those things are super valid, and a lot of teachers are having those kinds of challenges. And the reality is that our world has changed significantly. We can't even say, well, when I was a kid, when I was in school, it's kind of like that sounds like the dark ages nowadays. And children are presenting with with multiple challenges that they didn't necessarily have as that weren't as prevalent, I would say. Um, the other thing too, though, is that I think that we have more information about how to work with these challenges, right? And it's the we research is constantly being done on what we need to do better for children, but we have more information, and we need to be accessing more of that information, and we need to be also remembering that children are smaller people. Right? They are they
Yes,
are
you
they
are.
are coming to us as we are in just a smaller form, and which also means that are impacted by the things that are happening in the world. And so, because of that, we have to think about how we approach learning, how we approach making sure that we're paying attention to who they are as children, as human beings, as children who have had trauma, various kinds of trauma, as children who come from really supportive homes and don't know anything about trauma, right? We have so many different kinds of situations that children are coming from. And so, it's really challenging to be a teacher. That is absolutely true, because you don't know who's coming to your classroom, and your job is, as my godmother told me when I started teaching. She said, you have the most impossible job. And when she said that to me, I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I'm just starting teaching. I'm gonna go and change the world?" And she said, "It is an impossible job, but you can do the best that you can do with the people in front of you." And so I've always tried to remember that. Um, there's so much that we are still learning about technology and AI and all of these things, and the adults have to learn about it. We can't be afraid to learn about AI and what it's doing. We can't be afraid to look at the research on, on screen time. If we don't, then we can't complain, right? And
Right.
say, "Oh, well, the kids are doing too much." The kids are being
Mm-hmm.
allowed to do fill in the blank, right? So we have to understand what are the pulls, what are the draws, and how do we engage children in different ways, and how do we leverage the technology? How do we leverage screen time in a way that's not going to pull them away from that love of learning? How do we say, "Oh, we have this, and we can use it to enhance your learning"? So there's lots of opportunity there, and I think it's all about perspective. It's also realistically, it's a lot about equity. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
big piece of what
Yeah.
I do and what I try to focus on is, are we giving students everything that they need? Are we giving them access to the resources that they need?
Yes.
And the general answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
Why? We could go down a rabbit hole for that. But I do think that every educator has the opportunity within their own sphere of influence, their classroom, their schools, to try to provide as equitable an education as possible, to look for those resources that kids need by paying attention to what kids are telling you. See, that's one of the things that people don't realize. Kids will tell you what they need without saying a word. They will tell you what they need by the actions that they take, the actions
Mm-hmm.
they don't take, right? It's not all about, "Oh, I don't like you. I don't like this thing." Like that that's no. There's way more to that. And so we
Right.
have to pay attention to those things and really be um, intentional about looking for what it is that this child needs, because I know that I can only do so much, but I have to make sure that I am doing everything that I can.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you are engaged in the types of academic programs that are offered, because engagement is the way to get young people to learn today.
Yep.
It, I grew up in a time where lecturing was
Mhm.
considered teaching.
Right.
That's not going to work today.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Right. And we're competing with too many intense media
Mhm. Mhm.
that our young people are engaged with,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And
Right. Right.
and so I want to I'm looking at the time, and I want to be sure to get a couple of things.
Mhm.
So one, you and I, in our pre-show discussion, you mentioned that you wanted to address educational leadership for Black women,
Mhm.
because you're involved in organizations around that. So talk to us a little bit about your your thoughts and feelings about educational leadership with regard to Black women.
Mhm. So I have had the privilege, the opportunity, the joy to serve as the president of a national nonprofit organization called Black Women Education Leaders Incorporated. Um, we are a small but growing organization of women from every corner of education. Pre-K through university, educational consultants, retirees, anyone who is identifies as a Black woman and is in an education space. And I actually found this organization on what was then known as Twitter. And it was right before the pandemic when I actually found this account, which then actually grew into an organization. Dr. Latrice Younger is the founder of the
Yes.
organization, um, and that that organization for her, it grew out of a need. She wanted to be able to connect more with Black women who were in leadership, and it the narrative and the statistics say that we're barely out there, right? If you look at the numbers, it looks very, very scarce, right? Um, the fact is that we are out there. um,
Yes.
and the issue is that oftentimes we tend to be very isolated, tend to not have connections with other Black women who are doing the very same thing. Even folks who are in cities where they're predominantly Black, there
Mhm.
still can be some difficulty networking and connecting with folks for a variety of reasons. But this organization strives to provide a safe space, a courageous space, a brave space for women to come and say, hey, this thing is happening. I'm not sure what to do. Who's dealt with this? Can I get a mentor? Can I just have some girl time? you know,
Mhm.
um, Professional development that is led by Black women for Black women. We
Right.
just held our first national conference last June 2025, and it was amazing. Every presenter was a Black woman, and it was the space that I've never been in, and most of us, right? And so it was
Right.
really, really beautiful to be able to learn from others who looked just like us, right? And so it's definitely a joy, and it also can be challenging at times because we do have to, we're still trying to network, we're trying to see, okay, who's out there, and how can we bring folks in to be able to continue to have this space. But it has definitely been wonderful and very, very helpful and supportive.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know that in New England, there is a Black Women in Higher Education association, but it's not necessarily Black women education leaders.
Yes.
I used to attend those events, and there are Black women who are in many roles. Right, it could be in student life, it could be as an educator, it
Right.
could be anything. But Black Women Education Leaders Incorporated, is that the URL, the website name that people can find out more?
Sure, it's blackwomeneducationleaders.com.
Okay, because there may be some listening right now
Yeah,
who are thinking, if nothing else, I just need a sister in in the
absolutely.
field.
Absolutely. And we're international too. I'm so glad to say we have some members from overseas, which is great. But yes, we are open for membership and would love to chat with anyone who's interested.
Yeah, I can tell you in my time, I was in the higher ed administration of a couple of universities, and it was like when I met another Black woman who was a president or an academic dean or anything, I just
Uh-huh.
kind of ran over there like, "Hey." The
That's exactly what happens because you're just like, okay, am I the only, oh, I'm not, okay, phew, and you exhale. So
yes.
yeah, it's important.
Now, there's a couple of other things I'm hoping we'll have time to get to.
Mhm.
So, one is you also have a podcast.
Well, the podcast is connected to, we call it Be Well, Black Women Education Leaders. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I co host that.
Yes.
My co host is Dr. Jocelyn McDonald, and it's called Lead Girl, the Be Well podcast. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So
Now
we
is
interview lots of folks from that who are part of the organization, and we just try to really highlight and amplify the voices of Black women in educational leadership.
and so if someone wants to look for that podcast, do they just go to the Black Women Education Leaders.com site or
On YouTube.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, on
On,
YouTube. You
yes.
heard it. Okay.
Yes. Black women education leaders on YouTube.
Okay. That's wonderful. I love it. I love it. I
It's
love
a
it.
lot of fun.
Now there's another piece.
Okay.
You are about to have a book,
Yes.
all yours,
Yay.
coming out in June
Hmm.
called Thrive.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that.
This is like another baby for me. I feel like I feel
Okay.
like I'm gonna birth a new baby.
Tell the
Um,
other ones about it before you do.
well,
Okay.
Thrive is the title of the book is Thrive: Breaking Free of Survival Mode in Education.
Mm.
And this is something that I have been thinking about for a while. Um, we were talking earlier about the different challenges in as an educator, as an educational leader, and over the last couple of years, I've been trying to think about, well, I've been doing this thing for a long time, as you mentioned, and so what is it? What are the things that have actually kept me in education? And so I started trying to think through and be trying to be a little bit more specific. Like, what is it that keeps me in? And actually, I want to thrive. I don't want to just kind of get through this thing. Oftentimes, the narrative around education is, oh my gosh, how do you do that? I can't believe that you work with such and such, and in that place, right? That school or that this, right?
Mm.
I would never. And sometimes in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. You know why you could never? Because you have to want this thing. You have to feel in your heart and know in your core that this is what you want to do and this is where you want to be, because that is the only way that you're going to be able to continue and sustain yourself.
Mhm.
And so survival shouldn't be where we stop when we have this conversation about being in education. Our goal, I believe, should be to thrive. We should want to actually enjoy this work because there is so much joy in it, right? But we don't always share it. And educators sometimes have a really hard time sharing the work that they do and sharing the joys in the work that they do. So
Hmm.
I want this book to be a place where any educator at any point in their career can look and say, I need somebody to give me a story to let me know that I'm on my way, or that I can actually stay in this thing even when it feels impossible. There'll be strategies, there'll be tips, there'll be scenarios, there'll be stories of triumph in this, and the contributing authors that have signed on to do this, incredible. I mean, I am so blessed that they saw the book call and said, "I've got something that I can share that
Wow.
will help someone else know that they can thrive in this work." And it's gonna be amazing. I cannot wait.
I can only imagine. Are you willing to share the acronym?
Sure. So the acronym THRIVE stands for Teaching with Heart, Resilience, Integrity, Value Relationships, and Ensuring Equity.
Okay. Now that already should make you get excited and want and can't. I know you want to go on to Amazon or wherever right now and get the book. June, June. It's coming out in June. And
Yes.
we'll and and we have already put a little reminder on our calendar for the show then
Yay.
that we will remind you every week of June to get that book. It's true.
Thank
Yes,
you.
and we wanna congratulate you on
Thank
being
you.
able to do this because survival mode is what can happen. It
Mhm.
can happen not only in education, but in a
Sure.
number of industries,
Mhm.
and especially for Black women, and I love it because that thing that new term that's out, it's, probably old now, it's been out a few years, imposter syndrome,
Oh, mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yeah.
There are certain environments where that's what you start to feel,
Yeah, for sure. For
right?
sure.
And even though you could run circles around some of the people who make you feel that way.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but that's
That's
great.
another podcast.
So, listen, you heard about it. Just remember thrive.
Yes.
If you can't remember the rest, just remember thrive. Look for it
Mhm.
in June.
It's coming.
Okay. So there's another piece of you. I
All
love it.
kinds.
I I I have to say this to all of our viewers and listeners. Again, another commonality among the women who have been on this show
Mm.
is that they don't just do one thing. They don't just do something, but they do many things, and somehow, some way, they end up tying themselves into their community, engaging in their community in many, many different ways. And so Trelane does not have enough to do. And so she also uh, is a travel advisor.
Hmm.
So I know that all those elementary kids that you're teaching, they have one place they want to be sure to go called Disney World. So,
Let's go.
okay,
Let's plan it. Let's do
I
it.
know, I see. But how, so tell me about that. How did that happen?
Mm. Well, that happened out of a desire to travel more. I want to travel. I want to see more of the world. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to learn about it. So I said, well, hey, why don't I just become a travel advisor? That was the main part. But another piece is it really does connect. So all of these things, they do connect. There is a thread, right? And so
Okay,
part
start
of
flowing.
so part of this idea around thriving is also about what are the things that you do not only within your work but also outside of your
Right.
work, right?
Yes.
And so because we come to whatever role we have with all of who we are, but sometimes we try to separate and break ourselves into pieces, and that ends up actually showing up in our work even though we don't really mean to have that happen.
Right. Right.
And so a lot of that idea around thriving in education is what am I doing outside of work that can help to sustain me as well. And so for me, I want to travel. I want to be able to see more of the world. I haven't gone as many places as I would like. And I said, well, if I can even help women, moms, single moms in particular, um, anyone who wants to travel. So I am hoping to be able to have retreats for women and educators and moms, to have group travel. I'm doing a group trip to Ghana in July. So I'm super excited about that. We still have spaces open for that. So I really just have this idea of trying to thrive in everything that I do, and to bring things full circle. So
So if I want to go to Ghana with you and read
Mhm.
Thrive while I'm there,
That sounds like a good idea.
how do I get in touch with you to get to book this trip?
Wonderful. Well, so my agency is called Trey Clark Leads Travel. So it's TRE Clark Leads and then Travel. It's on Facebook, on Instagram, and that's my Gmail. It's called Trey Clark Leads at Gmail. So that's for my travel. And then for my book project, it would be Trelane Clark 0314 at gmail.com.
Okay, Trelane Clark 0314 at Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
If you have questions about the book, and Trey Clark leads
At Gmail.
with an S. Is there an
Yes,
S on the end?
with an S.
Okay,
Yes.
leads at Gmail. If you want to go to Ghana with her, okay, or if you want to just book a trip
Go anywhere.
somewhere, anywhere, she will be more than glad to help you and assist you in doing that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I got to take another quick break,
Hmm.
and but I'm going to give you a couple of seconds at least, because there's one last thing before we close out. We have come to the end, and that is, what advice would you give anyone listening right now about who said, I've been teaching for a long time. I've identified a lot of things that if I could have a leadership role, I would try to implement or change,
Mm-hmm.
transform. Uh, so, what advice would you give someone who's like, how do I start moving up the ladder and how do I promote change
Okay,
in my leadership role?
gotcha.
So, we're going to, again, there's still a minute to call in. 781. You can still do it, 384-5587, or email me, Regina at rgbinternetradio.com. Don't go away. We're going to be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Anthony DePiro, and I'm an employee here at Sabatino Mastrocola Insurance Agency, where I've worked for about 6 years. Our agency is a full-service agency. We specialize in auto, home, flood, life, and other insurance needs. We have a registry running service. We offer professional claim assistance, and many other things that will help you throughout the process of getting new insurance. I mainly specialize in commercial insurance such as apartments, restaurants, offices, contractors, retail, and things of that nature, but the rest of the team here also specializes in home, auto, and other lines. We merged with Mastrocola Insurance about 2 years ago, and we're proud to house them here at 519 Broadway along with our office, and we all work together to service your needs. Stop by anytime here at 519 Broadway or give us a call at 617-387-7466 or visit our website at www.sabatino-ins.com.
And we are back, and we asked Trelane to think about the advice she would give someone who is thinking about trying to move higher up in their educational track or is in a leadership role, but wants to know what's the best approach to creating change,
Hmm.
positive change.
Yeah, so the first thing is to make sure that you are clear on why you want to lead. You need to be able to articulate that to yourself and to others. The second thing I would say is to think about what aspects of change you can do in the role that you're in. Sometimes a lot of people don't really realize that, you don't have to be in a leadership role to affect change, right? You can be in middle management and influence decisions that are above you. So what are those places where you can be a leader of a committee, where you can add value in lots of other ways? Try to find those opportunities, and then if you need to get some more education, you need to get some certifications, whatever it is, you go after it, because we need people who are bold, who want to stand up for children and for stand up for what's right, and just know that you're doing it for good, and that you want things to change for folks. So
Wonderful. And if you are a Black female, you need to join the Black Women Education Leaders
yes, yes,
Incorporated and go on their site. It's .com.
.com.
So I just want to thank you, Trelane. You have shared so much with us. Great, great insights, as well as very interesting aspects of who you are and this journey you have taken. And wow, have you really taken a journey? We wish you nothing but the best as
Thank
you
you.
continue. We'll be keeping our eyes and ears open to see what's going to happen in the near future. And again, don't forget, buy Thrive in June
Mhm.
and Ghana in July.
That's right.
Okay. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I want to also thank my sisters, Lanita Cullinane, for connecting us, and Dr. Ingrid Walker Descartes, my other sister, and Nicole Myers Turner, my other sister. They are my girls, my sisters, my heart, and they have been holding me up for many, many years since high school. So I have to acknowledge them here.
Well, we thank you. You birds of a feather flock together. You have great friends, but you are great as well. I've called Two of them, she nominal. I've thrown you now in the bunch. You're she
Yay.
nominal as well. And now one of my new sheroes.
Thank you.
Again, thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope that you will weather the weather very well. Stay warm, stay safe, and remember this, no matter what happens, love somebody. We'll see you next Thursday, same time, same place.
All right. So I'm all done.